This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So I covered, we almost covered all the reporting options, guys. Like almost all the reporting options were covered here. So even we covered hyperlinking also, right? Last session I was focused on story settings, story export, story preferences, story performance options, reporting tool comparison, and also we went through hyperlinking, right? How do we link multiple stories? Okay. How do you jump from one story to another? How do you link some external URLs? Right? This all will be done through hyperlinks. Now let's get into Explorer. Okay. Guys, uh, so you know, right? SAP Analytics Cloud is a self-service reporting solution. Okay. It's a self-service reporting means a business users or not business users, the end users can actually create their own stories. Okay. Self-service is not a new concept. Right? It was there from a long time. Um, so how can I put this? So it is there from a long time. So a lot of reporting tools support self-service reporting tool where users can come and build their own dashboards. Okay. So if I speak about the end users, you understand them. So okay. So guys, generally, if I speak about the types of end users for SAP, so we got three types of users. Okay. So one, super users. So this is super users is the place where we actually so there are different types of super users like strategy makers, business analysts, planners. So they all come into the super users list. Okay. It's just a moment. So guys, generally we got like three types of users, like super users, operational users, and executives. Okay. The business analysts, the strategy makers, the planners, they all come into super users. So here, guys, these super users can build their own stories. Okay, they will be given few roles where they have an option to build their own stories. We call them as self-service reporting. The end users can actually build their own stories. is what we call it as self-service reporting. Self-service reporting is not a new concept, guys. It was there from a long time. Okay. Right. So, so these people, these business analysts will come to SAC. They play with the data. They build their own dashboards. Okay. And coming to the other types of users, like operational users, like managers, supervisors. Okay. So all your managers and supervisors falls into operational users. So these users has no idea on SAP Analytics Cloud. They don't have any idea on the reporting solution also. They don't even know what is the reporting solution behind the dashboard. Okay, they only come, access the dashboards. Okay, and based on the data, they will make their own decisions. Okay, so they will completely rely on the dashboards or stories created by the SAC consultants. Same with executives also. Executives means the top level management like associate GMs like directors, CEOs, CFOs, like the heavy high level managements, vice presidents, everything. So they all fall into executive category. Okay. So these executives actually look at analytic reporting, means more summarized data. They don't really look into the details. They want only the overall pictures. Okay. So operation users majorly looks at the details. They actually look at the details. Okay, because they are like low level managers like store manager or some kind of a warehouse manager who wants to know the details of the store, like all the transaction details on the store. So the data is more detailed way or less aggregated way, operational users. Whereas the executives, they always looks at the overall pictures, so we do a heavy analytic reporting for them. Okay, so operation, one thing I can convey is operational users executives, so they fall 70% of our user community. So 70% of the users come from these two areas, and they simply rely on the stories built by the SAC consultant. They actually rely on the dashboards or stories built by the SAC consultant. Okay, they don't really come and make their hands dirty within the system. Okay, then the other type of users are like super users. Okay, we also call them as power users. In some organizations we call them as power users. So actually they are business analysts, strategy makers who are responsible to design the strategies of the company. They come to SAP Analytics Cloud. They make their hands dirty on the system. Okay. So what they do, they actually go, they do a lot of R&D, they play with the data, they build their own stories according to their requirements. Okay. So and that stories built by the end users or super users, we call them as self-service stories or self-service reports. Okay. Clear? So these are like the types of users we have on SAP Analytics Cloud. So in general, um, so what are the stories or dashboards built by an SAC consultant, right? They are like kind of a global dashboards, guys. It can multiple users can use them. Whereas self-service reports are like if a one user created a self-service dashboard, it will be useful only to that user. Other users cannot use it up. Okay, clear? Makes sense. Any questions, anyone here on the types of users? Hello.
No, Satya. I mean, it's good.
Okay. So these are like the three types of users. So self-service reporting is like a common topic, guys. It was there from a long time. Even Lumira Business Objects, Lumira supports self-service. Power BI, Tableau, every reporting tool supports a self-service. But one more advantage in SAP Analytics Cloud is, see guys, the biggest problem with self-service reporting is, the biggest challenge with self-service reporting is, if one report, one story created by one user is not useful for another user, it is only for his own purpose, because he don't think about the global requirements while building the story. He always thinks about his requirements. So one self-service dashboard created by one user is not useful for another user. Okay. And also there might be the case that in a self-service report, user wants 10 widgets. Out of it, 78 widgets are present in a global story created by an SAC consultant. 78 are already there. Only he needs to add two more. Instead of creating all the 10 widgets in a separate story, he can actually add self-service widgets into a global story. Okay, so what SAC is giving is, so into a story created by an SAC consultant, an end user can come. Okay, so I repeat the point once again. In a story created by an SAC consultant, super user can come and add his own self-service widgets to that story. Okay, without impacting the story. So that is achieved with, that is like one big advantage for a super user, guys, who can instead of creating their own stories to the existing story created by the SAC consultant, they can actually play with the data and create their own self-service widgets on their regular story. See, using Explorer option. So that happens through Explorer option. Okay, let me show you how an Explorer works so that you understand how self-service widgets can be added to a regular story. Okay,
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So, is there any authorization concept here also, like where we can
I'm
give?
going to cover that. Okay, who can do what kind of activities? They will be covered in future. Okay, so guys, I can go to any widget. See here, I go to this widget. Go to the designer mode of the widget. In the designer mode, you have builder and styling tabs, right? In the builder tab, if you scroll down, you see an option called enable explorer. In the view mode, enable explorer on this widget. So what I'm saying, the view mode, enable explorer. Okay, if you enable explorer, once the create self-service widgets. Okay, okay, and what measures and dimensions I want to be part of self explorer is in the measures. I would like to see average sales by store, discount, gross margin is by default there, gross sales, sales orders created. Okay, done. So I want these measures in the dimensions, guys. By default, all dimensions is I select date, product, okay, salesman. I select kind of date, product is by default sales manager store. Location also I'll select. I select these dimensions and measures. Okay, so I just added the Explorer option here, guys. Okay, you see there is an option called Explorer available. So now I configured an Explorer on top of this widget. Okay, now what I do is in the view mode. So I'm going to the user mode now. So I just go to the user mode. I can do it in the edit mode also, but I'm doing it in view mode. Now, this is the mode in which the end users access this story, right? Okay. So once we configure, the end users can click on Explorer available. Once you click on Explorer available, he will go to the Explorer mode. This is what we call it as the Explorer view mode. So here you can see all the dimensions and measures, all the existing dimensions and measures. Hmm? So these all are the existing measures, existing dimensions. Fine. So right now this is Explorer view 1. This is original view. Okay. So here Explorer view 1, I can delete it. Fine. This is the original view. Okay. Gross margin by product. Here the end user can create a new Explorer view. Here you see an option called create Explorer view. Okay. So I rename it as I would like to see gross margin by sales manager. So I would like to see this. I would like to see this gross margin by different sales managers. In this case, I add sales manager here. I remove product dimension from this widget and add sales manager here. So now you see gross margin by sales manager. So in the new Explorer, here you see I created an not I, general end user can create an Explorer view. So where he can do his own widget. So this is like a self-service widget, right? Okay, now again, we can create a new Explorer view. So again, I'm creating another Explorer with other self-service widget. This time, I would like to see, okay, uh, I would like to see the net sales by manager. Hmm? So dimension, I'll go with sales manager. Measure instead of gross margin, I'll go net sales. I'll pick net sales. So now you're seeing net sales by manager. So you see two widgets, net sales and gross margin by sales manager. I create a new Explorer view. So in this, I would like to see average store sales by year. I would like to see average store sales by year. In this case, I go for date dimension. I'll go date. I'll go at level 2, at year level. Here in the measures, instead of net sales, I go average sales by store. This is average store sales by year. Maybe you can choose the different column also, stacked area. Right. Average sales in 2014, 2015. This is not the right chat. I'm just going for different types of chats. You can choose the type of chat also uses. Not the average sales. I'll go gross sales only, guys, not average sales by store. I say number of sales orders created in different years. This is better. Number of sales orders created in different years. I edit this as sales orders by year. So like that, users can keep on creating their own widgets, guys. Whatever they want, they can start creating the widgets. So here you see, I created 3 self-service views. I can create a new Explorer view. So this time, average store sales by location. So in this case, I go add location dimension. I'll go location, remove date. I'll go average sales by store. Type of chat I pick as tree map chat, something like this. Okay. The average store sales, not sales orders, guys. I'm sorry. The average store sales, remove sales orders. More measures needed. Okay, I didn't select any measure, I think. So this is average sales by store. We go at tree map chart. And this is your average sales by store for California, Oregon, and Nevada. So like this, you can create different types of chats here, guys. So you can see I created 4 self-service widgets. Okay. So using an Explorer. So this is all done by the end users, guys. We never touch this up Explorer. We just configure Explorer on a widget and leave it up. This enable Explorer and creating their own self-service widgets is all done by the end users. So users will do it. So these super users will have an option of Explorer, the way they can add the self-service widgets to the existing story itself. Now you see here, guys. You want to see this in full screen? This is full screen. Come out of full screen, full screen. And if you click on this option, you will be back to the story view mode. Now I'm back to the story view mode. So here you see, you also can see how many Explorer views are created on this widget. You can see 4 Explorer views are created on this widget. So like this, we can actually enable Explorer on multiple widgets of the story. Okay. You can enable Explorer on multiple widgets and go through the self-service reporting from multiple widgets of a story. Okay, makes sense. Any questions, anyone? Okay, if any user can come, I go to the view mode once again. If you click on this Explorer views, it will open that Explorer view. Right. Switch back to the story view mode. You will be switched back to the story view mode. So this is how your Explorer option works. All right, clear, guys?
Usually, when the end users will go for this, when we should give it for edit access and not supervisor access. Will they
Edit
ask her?
access.
We do. Yeah,
No, we don't give any
superuser
edit
access.
access. They're doing it from view access only.
Where they can play around.
So generally we enable Explorer, guys. Different analytic reporting, right? We enable the Explorers for sure. Okay.
By default.
And so generally we give that store. So in security, I'll give like to which user we should add that Explorer option so that he can go and create his own self Explorer widgets. Not all users, guys. Only super users or power users are given will be given this access. Only these users will be given access to create their own self-service widgets, not the operational users and executives.
By default, we'll enable this Explorer. We enable the Explorer whenever we
Yes,
create
yes,
a
in
widget.
most of the stories, Explorer is enabled. Yes. Okay. You see, in the story details also, guys. So user has an option like when he's opening the story, it's you see by default open the story in story view mode. If I say by default open story in explorer mode, if I say save it, go to view mode. Sorry, I didn't save my story yet. If I rerun the story, guys, you see if as I mentioned, right, open in explorer mode, so it by default open in explorer mode. You see this? Then you switch back to the story mode, then you switch back to the story. So you have an option to either enable in either story mode, okay, or this explorer mode. So by default it will be story only, guys. We generally don't open in explorer. If any user wants to open the story by default in explorer mode, they can go and choose this option.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
So this Explorer views, right? It's an additional layer of data, right? It's not editing whatever the developer created.
No, nothing. No change on the developer created. So it's like
Okay.
they are exploring their own way, like self-service way. Okay,
Okay.
exploring more on the data. That's it.
So Satya, is it specific to data widgets, single widget, or can we create this data explorer for total report as well? It's total story as well.
It's on widget level, man. On widget level, you need to explore enable the explorers. I
Okay.
enable the explorer on the widgets right here. You see, go to the designer in the builder tab. You need to enable explorer. I enabled just now.
Yeah, and that means like for every widget we have to enable that one. Otherwise, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
See, in general, no need to
locally.
enable for all the widgets. Like one or two widgets you enable and give all the measures and dimensions so users can create their own explorers.
Okay, Satya, got it.
All right. So this is about the explorer option. They cover a comment widgets. All right. So guys, with this, I covered almost all the options of reporting. There are few options, guys, which I didn't cover. Maybe if I write this up. Okay. So these are like few options in the reporting which are not yet covered. Okay. So because of few constraints, I'll discuss them. Guys, just give me a minute, please. I'll be back in a minute and I'll cover this like topics which are not discussed in the future. What are some additional options we have in the reporting? I'm going to cover all the remaining aspects of reporting. Okay. All right, guys. So there are like few options which I will be discussing in the future. Like geomaps, I didn't cover the geomaps as of now because this data model don't have. I to cover geomaps, I need some geospatial dimensions. It will be covered in today's session 11, right? Maybe in session 14 or something. I'll create my own model, right? So on top of that model, I'll be creating the geomaps. Okay, there are some smart features also, like which are part of augmented analytics, like smart insights, smart discover, and R visualizations. These will be covered as part of smart augmented analytics, like session 17, 18, 19. Okay. So there are some planning features like cross calculations, version management, planning triggers, value driver tree. So these are like all the planning options. So they will be covered during planning sessions. And web page integration will be covered at the end. Okay. So calculated dimensions, guys, calculated dimensions is one topic which can be done at the data modeling layer and also at the reporting layer. In general, the calculated dimensions are always, it's always ideal to create these calculated dimensions at the data modeling only for performance point of view. Okay. So it's always ideal to create a calculated dimension at the data modeling layer. There are very few cases we create at reporting layer, like measure to dimension. Okay, when we are converting a measure to dimension, I already shown you, right? So those things we create at the reporting layer. Okay. So calculated dimensions is one topic which I created. I'll show in the model creation. And there are some options like link variables and link dimensions. I'll cover them as part of live modeling. Okay. So these options. Let me just show you so that you understand this. Okay. Okay. So guys, let me, if I just go through in the file, I covered all the options like story details I covered, right? Story preferences we covered. Query settings you can ignore as of now. Then you see something like smart insight settings, guys. The smart insight settings I'll be covering as part of augmented analytics. When I cover smart insights, I'll be covering smart insight settings also. Okay. So this is one topic left over. Then save as template export. We already did this. Then convert to optimized experiences. We'll discuss when they go for optimized design experience. Maybe I'll add this point also. Optimized design experience. So this part also I'll cover. Okay, conversion. When I speak about optimized design stories, I'll cover this part. Okay, copy paste, copy and paste. Share. Sharing options also I'll be covering as part of planning, guys. There is like something like sharing options. Sharing options. Sharing options gives you, okay, this will be covered as part of security sessions. When I speak about user management, okay, I'll cover this sharing options. Maybe session 23 or 24. So there are few reporting topics, guys, which I didn't cover. So sharing is like which user should access the story. Okay, only some kind of a sales manager should access them, right? So we actually restrict who should access the story using sharing options. Okay, so I'll cover them when I go with user management. In the file options, I didn't cover you like smart insight settings. I didn't cover optimized design experience conversion and uh, sharing options. So these three I'll be covering up later. In the insert, I inserted tables already. I inserted chats. I inserted input controls. I didn't insert a geomap. I didn't really insert a geomap. So this geomaps I'll be covering up. Here I written already. Sections you can ignore anyway. We're not doing sectioning right now. Images I inserted. Shapes. See guys, if you want to insert any shape, you can insert it up. Nothing new here. Text we inserted. Headers we inserted. Clock we inserted. Comment widget we inserted, right? You see, in the location analysis page, we have a comment widget in place. Display, sorry. Maybe I can say. Add a comment. Maybe I lost the comment in the recreation because right, I recreated the story. Minimum order value. Change from. Right, you can see comment widgets I already added, but when I recreated the story, I forgot to write the comments. So inserted comment widgets. Okay. See, RSS readers, web page integrations, these I'll cover at the end, guys. You see, I clearly mentioned a web page integration. I'll do it at the end. Um, and then value driver tree planning triggers. These all are planning options. These two are planning options. I'll be covering them in planning sessions. Then the insert, I inserted all the options for the reporting purpose, but for web page integration planning, I didn't insert anything. Okay. In the tools also, story filters we created, formula bars we written, chat scaling we already applied on the chats, guys. You remember conditional formatting we did. So if I click on conditional formatting, I created a couple of thresholds. Smart discovery is one thing which I didn't cover yet. Smart discovery will be covered as part of augmented analytics. Here you see, as part of augmented analytics, I'll be covering smart discovery. So session 18 or something, you'll see smart discovery getting created. Then you see some planning options like value lock management, set, unset, read only for selected cells, cell references and formulas. These all are planning options. I'll cover them as part of planning. In the tools, I didn't cover smart discovery and some planning options. So then in the data, guys, okay, publish data is again a planning option. Publish data is okay, graded out, right? It's a planning option. Refresh the story. If you want to refresh your page, go for refresh. If you want to manually refresh the page, you can go for a manual refresh also. So it's getting refreshed now. Okay. And also, guys, we can configure an auto refresh on the story page also. Like I say, configure auto refresh means if user is in this page for more than 10 minutes or 5 minutes, it will get refreshed automatically. Okay. But generally, in general, guys, we never configure an auto refresh because it increases the load time on the servers. Okay. So in general, so far I never seen, we never enabled any auto refresh. If the user wants it, he will refresh it manually. Okay. Because the story page gets refreshed whenever a user open a story. Whenever a user open a story, there is a refresh. Okay. So he wants to do one more refresh on the page, he can do it manually. Okay, if I configure auto refresh, it will have a heavy load on the servers. So generally, we don't configure any auto refresh. Then edit prompts and link variables and link dimensions I'll cover during live modeling. When I create live models and the stories, I'll cover these aspects. Okay. Especially link variables, guys, will come like if you're consuming from Bex queries or calculation views, right? Okay, so they will be coming with variables or input controls, input parameters, right? If you're consuming from two Bex queries into one story and you want to link the variables also, merge the variables also, we make use of link variables option. So these are seen majorly in live connections. Link variables are link variables are majorly seen in live modelings. Okay, I'll cover it during live model. And then in formatting layouts, fine. Comment mode, I already know. Examine, I covered. Explorer view mode, you already know. If I click on Explorer view mode of the story, so no chats in this page has Explorer. If I go sales analysis, and in the display, Explorer view mode, so you'll see Explorer view mode. Switch to story view mode. Right, I covered everything apart from these options. Even in the widget level options also, guys, here you see we did the sorting. Okay, we applied rank parameters, right? You see here, the manager analysis, I applied rank parameters. The top 5 and bottom 5, this is based on rank parameter. Here we have a sorting applied on quantity sold. Here you see this is sorting applied on quantity sold. Okay, applied rank parameters. Then we applied linked analysis, right? In location analysis, if you go on this widget, I applied linked analysis also. Here you see the linked analysis was applied to all the widgets on the page, right? That's the reason if I click on California, if I all the widgets will start showing data only for California. Right, linked analysis we did. Add smart insights is I didn't apply because this will be covered as part of augmented analytics. Smart insights. That is one option I didn't cover in more actions. Then in the add, we added thresholds. Right, guys, we created thresholds here, you see. We added threshold. This is nothing but a threshold, right? Thresholds we added. In the add, we added thresholds. We added reference line. This is reference line only, dynamic reference line. We added CGRs and error bars. Like in the advanced options, you see, we created CGR and error bars, right? This is CGR, this is error bar, right? Tooltips, we had a lot of tooltip measures on gross sales page, right? Trellis also we applied on the gross sales analysis. You see, it was divided into multiple sections. This is nothing but trellis. If I click here, along with gross sales, you see quantity sold also. That is because of tooltip. Okay. We added trellis. In the add options, I covered everything. Trellis, tooltip. Okay. Cross calculations is the only option I didn't cover because I'll cover it when I do actual versus forecast comparisons in the planning. So that's the reason cross calculation I written in the planning. I'll be creating a lot of cross calculation there. Hyperlinks we already created, comment widgets we already know. So in the add options, I created everything apart from cross calculation. Sure hide, you know, guys. Edit access we already done, right? In the location analysis page, we edited the access. So here we edited the access to start the access from 60. Right? If I go edit access, you see, it starts with 60. Collapse title, if you don't want to see the title, you can collapse. Copy widgets, you know. Export, if you want to export this widget data, you can do this here. I select some widget, select this widget, let's say, export this data into a file. You can export it. You can export any of the widget data into a file. Okay, CSV or XLSX. Edit styling, it will open the styling tab. It will open styling only, nothing else. If you want to see this widget in a full screen mode, this is like a full screen. Few options. And then we have an option of pin to home, guys. Here you see, there is an option called pin to home. For suppose I want this to be pin to home. I'll go, let's say, pin to home. Save plus pin to home. So what happens if I pin this widget to the home page is, let me open SAC in a new tab. So in the home page, see this widget. So I pinned this to the home page, so you see this. So few widgets, guys, which end users will think which are important for them, they can pin them to the home page. So these, I just say delete them. These are like sample widgets. This is pin to home. Still don't so you see. You by default see recent stories opened by the user, recent analytic applications open, and some important widgets on the home page. So the user can actually open the recent stories from the home page itself. He no need to go uh, into the details. Okay, go to the folders and open the stories. Recently opened stories, recently opened applications will be seen here. And some widgets which are very important, they will be seen on the home page itself. And then view controls, guys. View controls are here. You see a controls option, right? Both are same. If I click on view controls or controls, both are same. If I say controls, view controls, you see controls is enabled. So it gives you what filters are applied on this widget. There are 3 filters applied on the widget. Couple of them are story filters like product and location story filters impacting this widget, and a widget level filter on category. Maybe on the first page I applied a lot of filters, right? Let me go to the first page. Let me go to controls. 2 story filters on this widget. On this widget, we have 2 story filters, product and location. Page level filter, product, and widget level filter, that is categories actual. These are the applied on this. If I go to this widget, controls. So your story filters, page filter, group filter on of location and date is also applied. So these many filters are running on this. You want to see what filters input controls impacting the widget, click on controls. Okay, so these are like the options we have in reporting, guys. Then you have like remove the widget, fine. So these are the options which I didn't cover, and I covered remaining all. Clear? Makes sense? All additional options. So in today's session, I covered Explorer views, all additional options we have, and what are the topics which I didn't discuss in the report. I'll be covering them, everything I'll be covering, but in the so when the right time comes, guys, right, I have a right data, I cover these things. First, I'll be covering geomaps with my own data model. I'll be covering geomaps. Then I'll go to augmented analytics and cover those smart features. Okay, and during when I go with live connection, live modeling, I'll cover link variables and link dimensions. Okay, so these geomaps and calculated dimensions will be created very early, like session 14, session 15 itself, these things will be covered. Session 17, 18, 19, you'll see smart features getting covered. Then during live connections like 22, 23, you'll see this will be covered. Then when I go to planning, so these all options will be covered. Okay. Any questions, anyone so far?
Satya, can you show once again that how to apply the tooltip?
How to?
Tooltip.
Your voice is
How to apply?
breaking, man.
How to
How?
apply the tooltip?
I already covered, man. Okay.
Can you once again, please?
Please refer the recordings. Don't think I'm harsh on you. Uh, it will go long if I start covering the things again and again. Okay. Watch the recordings when you practice up. Don't really focus on the options, please. I see. I honestly ask everyone, don't focus on the options when I'm teaching, because you have recordings to walk through the options. Okay. Focus only on the functionality, because I'm very slow. First 6, 10 sessions, I'll be very slow. From now onwards, I'll pick up the pace. Okay. It will be very serious topic starts now. Very honestly, right now I'm just playing with the options. Till now I'm playing with the options. I'll start with serious topics from now onwards. I really ask the people to focus on the functionality, what I'm speaking. Don't really focus on the options here and there. You have recordings to practice. Okay, you asked me to cover tooltip. Let me add a tooltip measure. So, you're right. You have sales orders. Let me add a tooltip. like along with the sales orders. I would like to get something like mm, projected net sales also. Add projected net sales as a tooltip measure. If I place my cursor, so for these many sales orders, this is the projected net sales. Hmm, Makes sense? It will be shown only on the pop-ups, tooltip measures.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, options, please don't ask me to cover again and again. Okay, please. On a humble request. Okay, uh, you have recordings, right? When you're practicing. All right. Um, yeah, this is all about the reporting. So guys, now let's quickly jump onto the data modeling. Okay, so far I was completely driven in driving through options, guys. Now you know maximum options in the reporting, right? You all know max to max options in the reporting. Okay, so from now let's go with one use case, guys, because I want you. So if anyone asks you, tell me one end-to-end dashboard you developed in a techno-functional way. So let me cover one use case on a proper data model and report. Okay, so I'll be making use of an employee travel analysis here. Okay, so here I just go. Okay, so I'm gonna pick some expense management data, travel expense management, and I'm gonna build a travel expense dashboard. Okay, showing all the features like where we are spending more, where we are spending less. I would like to do all kind of an expense analysis, travel expense analysis. Okay, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna use the data, travel expense data. Okay, and do build a proper travel expense dashboard. So if any in the interviews, right, most of the people, I'm not sure how many of you will look for an interview after this training. Okay, so if they ask for one scenario, you can actually portray this as your work case also. So this is like a use case. So how many of you know Concur? So I'm going to take, so generally Concur is a cloud application. Okay, that is acquired by SAP. Concur is a product acquired by SAP. Right now it is SAP Concur only. Okay, it's a cloud application. Same software as a service offering like SAP Analytics Cloud. It is also a software as a service offering. Okay, it basically deals with and basically it's an expense management application, guys, where you clock all your expenses in this. Okay, maximum IT companies, guys. Okay, 70% of the industries or organizations use Concur as an expense management tool. Okay, it's a market leader in expense management blocking. Okay, I don't know, like, so even guys, when you submit any of your travel expenses, any of your expenditures, means for suppose you traveled on a deputation somewhere, okay, you want to submit your bills, okay, you want to submit your airfares, everything, you want to get some reimbursements, right? So you submit in Concur only. Anyone seen this anytime? Anyone experienced this? Most of the IT companies like TCS, IBM, they all use even Capgemini, Accenture, they all use Concur only for their expense management. Maybe you might see some companies you will directly see the application. In some companies you submit through website, it will be written back to the Concur system. Have you seen this anytime when you are submitting any of your bills, your expenses, your reimbursements? Okay, uh, your travel expenses, your daily fare analysis expenses, or you're submitting your telephone bills. So you all submit into the Concurs only. Anyone? There's no one experienced Concur so far. No.
We
So
recently
Concur is
migrated.
hmm?
We recently migrated this BizTalk to Concur actually. So we just had an interface between how we should download,
Hmm.
export the
Okay.
data
So
from Concur.
maximum companies use Concur. It's a leader. It's a market leader in expense management. That's the reason SAP acquired it. Okay. It was not an SAP product. It was acquired by SAP. You know, SAP, Microsoft, these are like elephant companies. What they do, if they find any product promising, they simply acquire and they make it as their part of their ecosystem. So that is how SAP built. Okay. SAP built less products and acquired more products. Okay. So SAP Concur is basically an expense management solution. It's basically a cloud application which deals with all employee expenses. All employee expenses will be clocked on this product. Okay. So in my case, I'm going to take the travel expense data from Concur and do all analysis dashboard in SAC. Okay. So this will be my source. So the data I'm going to take is travel expense data. I'm not take any kind of expense is managed through Concur, but I'll be more focused on travel expenses. But one point is, guys, so I don't have a Concur system. First point is I really don't have a Concur system. Okay. Uh, so there is no free version of Concur available. So what I did, so generally I got that Concur data into a file. From file, I'm loading the data. Okay. So first I'll create some data models by taking data from files. Okay, some data from file, then only I'll go to the system integrations. First I'll do it through file and then I'll go into system. How do we take from the systems? Okay, all right. So what I do is now, uh, so I actually dumped this Concur data. This is like a proper data, guys. I actually downloaded this data into a file. From the file, I'll be loading the data. So let me quickly walk through the data so that you understand this. These files were uploaded into your Google Drive also, guys. You can check them. You have a data files folder in Google Drive where you can find all these files. Okay, you can start using my files from now. So this is my data. Okay, this is the travel expense data, which I straight away downloaded this from Concur, guys. I didn't apply any massaging here, straight away download. Okay, so here I got around 6,800 odd records. Where I got travel ID, here I got travel ID. Like travel ID is nothing but booking ID, guys. Here, ticket ID, ticket number, unique number for the travel date, traveler employee ID of the traveler. You see all the details of travels, like home office code, home office ID of the travel, means to which office location this traveler belongs to. Means this company operates from multiple locations, guys. So this traveler belongs to London office. Okay, then origin airport code, airport, latitude and longitude of origins, latitude and longitude of destinations, what he traveled, coordinates of long origin and destination. Then in the city pay names, you see origin, city, and destination city. Here you see the travel is from Amsterdam to Tallinn. AMS, origin airport code is AMS, that means Amsterdam. TLL means Tallinn. Okay. Then you got carrier. So you see all the travel details here, guys. Travel date, home office, travel details, traveler employee, traveler office location, origin and destination locations. Then carrier details, carrier code and carrier name, cabin class, okay, business class. Purchase group gives you whether it's
Satya, we are not able to hear you.
Not hear you, Satya. Hello? Hello, Satya.
All the use traveler details like traveler ID, traveler name, traveler employee, traveler name, traveler office location. Okay, you see all traveler details. You see travel details here, like travel date, origin, destination locations, carriers, cabin class, all travel details. Okay, then you see some additional details like business opportunity. Okay, and how many days prior to this has been booked. So you see all the details of uh, travel data, right? So I'm going to use this data. Okay, I'm going to use this data from the file, build a data model. I'm going to build a data model. Okay, and use the data model to build a beautiful dashboard on travel analysis. Okay, right? So as of now, we'll be taking data from files. So especially guys, when you're going for an interview, don't say it is file. You say I just imported data from Concur because I'm going to show you how import models are built from system. Okay, if I show for one system, you can apply for other systems also. You connect it to Concur, get the data, build a data model, and build this travel dashboard. Okay,
Satya, Conquer has the live connectivity or import connectivity only?
import. See guys, I told you right, live connectivity is only from warehouse. Live connectivity is only with warehousing and data modeling applications where data model is already present. Only with BW, HANA, S4 where you have data models. Okay, Concur is an expense management tool. It's a business application, not a warehousing or a data modeling like system. So only imports, we have only import connection here with Concur. Okay, so I'm gonna use this data, build a data model within SAP Analytics Cloud. I'm gonna build the data model within SAP Analytics Cloud using this file as a source. Okay, and I'm going to use the data model to build a proper story. Okay, so this time you will get to know, you know the option now. You know I'll be using the options. Okay, to achieve my business case, to achieve my use case, right? uh, so this is the data. So I'm going to use this data to build my models. See guys, generally I have like two types of models based on functionality, analytic and planning model. Two types of models based on creation, live and import model. Two types of models based on structure account, based on multi-measure models. These are like data models. See, we got two types of models, guys, like in functionality wise. One is analytic model, another is planning model. If you have plan multiple versions of data, it's a planning model. So right now, this travel model I'm going to create is an analytic model. It's going to be an analytic model, not dealing with any planning here. Okay. And then two types of models based on connection. If it is a live connection, live model. If it is an import acquire connection, import model. So though I'm connecting to file, I'm importing data from file. So even with file, it is also an import connection. Connecting to file is also an import connection. Okay. So the travel model I'm going to build is an import model. The employee travel model I'm going to build is an analytic model. It is an import model. Okay. And two types of models based on structure. One is account-based models. If you deal with finance, data, and accounting, so we go with the account-based model. If it is sales, we go as a multi-measure model. Okay. In this case, I'll build it as a multi-measure model only, travel model. Okay. Build this model as analytic model, import model, and multi-measure. So any model you take, guys, falls into any one of and two and any one of. Guys, maybe I stop here. We are out of time. I'll start with data modeling. Session 12. Okay. Start with data. We start with data modeling. I'll start with data preparation, in which I work on data wrangling and maintaining dimensions, attributes, and measures. I'll work on these things in the next session. All right, I stop here. Thank you all. Have a great day. Thank you so much.